Uh, yeah. And I will talk a bit about what I already presented yesterday with the coordination and support action on circular economy and water. So the origin of this instrument come back to 2007 with the communication of the European Commission that explained the pre-commercial procurement driving innovation to ensure sustainable high quality public services in Europe. So which define two types of instruments, the pre-commercial procurement and the public procurement for innovative solution. So it addresses issues at different stages of the research and development process. Obviously, the pre-commercial is still have a bit of research when the public procurement for innovative solution is more focused to really help reaching the market for the solution. And both are complementary. Yeah. So what is the pre-commercial procurement? So the procuring it's an instrument that help to provide research and development services with the goal to improve the quality and the efficiency of public services. So it addresses public services, and it's not about commercial development. It's not about state aid. It's an instrument that wants to bring new solution in the portfolio of the solution that public utilities or public authorities have in front of them in order to implement their solution. And the important thing is to have competition. So we have a variety of solutions and a variety of prices for these public authorities. So again, it's a research and development service. It involves risk benefit sharing under the market conditions and competitive development in phases. So there are different phases that are supported. You have the research and innovation service need to be procured. So it is a clear separation between the research and innovation service procured and the deployment of commercial volumes and end products. So these are two phases of the life of a product that are addressed differently. And then the pre-commercial addresses really the R&I needs. And it has to be led by public procurers, which means that this is a public service that needs to ask for these instruments. It doesn't mean that you don't have private companies or NGOs that can join the consortium, but the leader needs to be a procurer, a public procurer. And when are you using it? Well, this instrument is dedicated for when there is no near to the market solution available that are able to solve the problem of the challenge of the public interest. You will see that in the example later on. You want to have commercial stable solutions so that you can continue to work on. And then you also want to have a price that is affordable for the public procurer and which meets quality requirements. So we need time, as we were saying all the time, we need time to make sure that the solution is developed at the right level that will serve the proper service. So this instrument is also made for that. The objective is also to bring different suppliers. So you will not have one technology developed at one moment. It's to make a game to develop these solutions and to bring these competitors together so they can develop different solutions. So we also enlarge the market for to different solutions. But Obviously, it's an R&I instrument, so there is no conclusive test yet. So one part of the task will be to have this conclusive test put in evidence. And it's also important when you have a high risk level for the procurer. So if he has to justify a big investment because there are these R&I issues, then this instrument can come to decrease this risk. Yes. So here. So what is the public procurement of innovative solutions now? So it refers to then the next steps. So once you have a solution, you can purchase and deploy innovation of goods or services in a wider environment of a newly arriving on the market solution that is not yet available at large scale. So it's to bring a bit the gap in between. I have a solution that gets out from my lab. It's commercialized, or we have a version that can be put on the market, but we still have low number of customers, so we don't have a lot of demonstration or replication as a commercial product. Then this instrument can come in action. So it can be one joint public procurement for innovative solution with multiple actors together, or an individual PPI per solution. So it depends a bit of the size of the procurers and the size of the solution. Here there is no research and development anymore. We have a commercial solution, but we need to help to launch for the customers because the solution have a potential across Europe to bring products and services that are that provide real solutions, so new solutions or solutions developed at small scales. But they and then we see the potential for public utilities or public procurers to have a wide access to this solution. And then here there is a constraint of the number of customers that have been reached, and the procurer needs to represent the first 20% of the customers of the for the procurement that should be validated. And we have obviously complementarity of these two instruments. Yeah. Colors are not very nice here, but it's better on the screen. Where is the pointer? Yeah. So here you have the PCP, so the pre-commercial procurement that is in different phase. So you have multiple technology provider here. Then you have a second phase where you will develop the solution according to the needs of the procurer. And then the third phase where you develop the final solution. And finally, you have the instrument to put it on the market. So this is the PPI to enlarge the production of the product. So if we look at an example in the water sector, so this example come back to 2013. We had a Scandinavian group of drinking water operators that faced different issues when they had to join two pipes, especially when they have to repair the network, because it can create leaks and accidents when it's not well done. So you have an issue of a practical solution to make this join of two section of pipes. And there was no solution on the market at the time. And then the issue is clearly relevant across Europe because it's polyethylene pipes, which are mostly used in Europe. So there is a market potential. So what's this group of Scandinavian procurers made is they started with the phase one where they are funding for potential suppliers. They identify the suppliers. They have each supplier as 100,000 Swedish kroner because it's in Sweden, in the Nordic countries. So the numbers I have are in Swedish kroner. They have 2 months to produce a concept note. On these concept notes, they were evaluated, and then the two winners of this first phase had 300,000 Swedish kroner in order to develop their solution in the next 10 months. So it's a 1-year project, which allowed to develop 2 solutions at the end. So you have 2 new products on the market. They are effective because they have been tested, and if you and it's coming in the catalog of solution of the two companies. So this is a benefit for the companies and a benefit for the procurers that have now a tested solution. So there are two innovative products available. From the procurer point of view, they have 2 alternative new products available on the market, so they can have competition in terms of price. It proved the capacity of these instruments to provide a service for the procurers. There is a shorter time for discussion from the discussion of the problem to the results because everything was in 1 year, done in 1 year. And it reduced the supplier lock-in and freedom to buy the best solution from the 2 suppliers. So they have no compromise with one or the other. They can choose the one they prefer from the 2 solutions developed. And if you look at the cost and benefits, the 2 vendors, so they have in the meantime developed a solution that is spread over Europe because like operators are talking together. So they managed to have an access to a market that is interesting. The total cost of the PCP, so the 2 phase plus everything that's come around was 3,200,000 kroner. And if you look at the price of a leak, it's 600,000 Swedish kroner per leak. So it's you have a high rate of return on investment. So this was for the PCP and the PPI. And now I will go to the European Innovation Council. So this is an instrument that is made, it's an instrument in Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, that is made to help companies or small SMEs and startups to become to develop their innovative solutions. So there are 3 parts, so 3 objectives. The innovation performance, so we want to have strong SMEs and startup. Innovation funding, we want to help in the transition and the scaling up of their solution. And innovation ecosystem, so you need to build a community around these SMEs and startups because it's a fragmented market at European level. What do they have as a solution? The Pathfinder, so it's the early stage research, so it's not necessarily to access to the market directly. We have technology maturation and business market readiness. So this is more the analysis of the market in which they are operating. And the one that is more important in the access to the market is the accelerator that is made for the development and scale up of technologies and blended finance and having investments that are substantial. And then it's the successor. So for people that are used to Horizon 2020, it's the successor of the SMEs instrument that was previously in Horizon 2020. So it addresses to startup and SMEs. as I said, it's seeking for scaling up high impact innovation with the potential to create new markets. The innovation building on the scientific discovery and technological breakthrough. So it's very much to have technologies available on the market, and the innovations where significant funding is needed over a long time frame, and when it's too risky for the investors to come in. So this helps startups to get along. And finally, the last instrument that I wanted to present is what we do in the core of Horizon Europe. So this is an example of what we can do. So this is the coordination and support action. So here, these instruments are specifically addressed to better understanding of the market or better develop activities that help people to come together and to have actions in order to understand better the market and develop their projects. And we had one in the last work program, which is harnessing the innovation potential and market uptake of successful circular economy water-related projects. It's 2 million per project. We have granted 2 projects, the project Boostin and the project CSO, with the objective to actually explore the digital business models and promote their market uptake. So this is related to circular economy. We hope that they will propose roadmaps and recommendation guidance on standardization. It's also a topic that we discuss in the last 2 days. It's address social perception and increase awareness with the favor to reuse the product by the users and the citizens. So again, we have in the project already some actions that are done in that sense, and develop education and training programs to upskill the professional, and define and propose EU harmonized end of waste criteria. Again, the quality of the product that are put on the market. So all these 2 projects can be reached out and have discussion to organize some of activities that can support the continuation of your project related to circular economy. So this is the overview of what we proposed, and I hope this is useful.
Thank you very much, Bertrand. This was lots of information.
I can make the presentation available.
Exactly. We share the your presentation via Access, who will then also distribute it. So you will definitely have access to that presentation, because that needs digestion. Maybe before you circulate them, you also add some references where we can find for example, coordination actions.
Yes.
Maybe the name of the coordinators that can get in contact to be added to the network. Also, for the procurement, they are published on the tender portal, I presume, on regular basis, or
this
we need to check.
I need to check. Yeah. I need to check what is the procedure, and but I can refer to the contact person also for.
I think what we need is to add a little bit the contact persons, but it shows this commitment that we have on uptake, and this creativity that we had also the pre-commercial at the pre-commercial level, and that is also what we've seen here, in fact. So that may match, and then also in particular the Pathfinder instrument within the European Innovation Council, because that allows, for example, a European partner to also take on board a third country partner from India to develop its business based on the same rules of participation of Horizon Europe. But anyway, that was a bit complementing it. And any questions from online or from the audience on that? Yes, please.
So just in the last slide, when you talked about 2 projects, Boost and something else.
Yeah, Boostin and CSO.
Yeah, so are they already rolled out, or the call is ongoing? Can you shed some light on that?
They have been awarded already. but this is so this is the previous work program, so work program 24. Boosting started in January, and CSO will start in June. But they have this is a coordination support action, so they are awarded to take actions for to support the circular economy. So these actions are open to different people, not necessarily only the people from the consortium. That's why it's important for you. So if you enter in contact with the coordinator of the project, they can explain you their plan and how you can enter and how you can receive part of the funding for, I don't know, traveling, because you have there is a demonstration to do, or to have trainings in some in Europe, or to participate to educational program that they want to put in place. So this is the kind of actions that they are asked to develop, and they are paid for that, and then there are possibility to have funding related to this action through the boosting and CSO program.
Okay, thank you. I'll talk you more on taking a reference about that. Yeah.
Yes. We will share with references. Yes. It's also on the coordination.
Yeah, on the coordination support action.
You mentioned EU harmonized end of waste criteria. So can you give an example of that or elaborate?
Yeah, the idea is to try, for the moment, there is no, so the end of waste criteria for recovered products. So for example, I don't know, you recover bioplastics from sludge, because you have sludge that are producing PHA. You have the end of waste criteria that will say this product cease to be a waste because it's coming from a waste stream and become a product that I can put on the market. This is the end of waste criteria. These end of waste criteria are defined member states by member states. And this is one issue, because it means that the bioplastic that you can sell in one country, you cannot sell it in another country in Europe. But this is the waste, the waste framework directive is giving this. So what we try to have here is having a work towards what are the kind of product that needs end of waste criteria, and how these end of waste criteria can be harmonized across Europe. So at one point, maybe if we reach in every country the same level, then you may have an European end of waste criteria that can come up, which was not the case before, because all the member states have different criteria. I guess it's a bit the same with regions in India also.
That is specifically for the sludge, because we have already definitions on waste for other productions, isn't it?
No, this is the end of waste criteria are still at national level. So you may have from waste for plastics. So you have certain regulation on specific products that may be have criteria at European level, but in the waste framework directive, at least with last version that I have in mind, you don't have specific end of waste criteria in the regulation. Yeah, the end of waste criteria. So the wastes are defined, the waste stream are defined, but the end of waste criteria, and especially the quality, are different because member states have different opinions. Just one.
Yeah, so all this the information on definition of waste or end of waste is very important in the context of the Trade and Technology Council, where we want to develop, for example, waste from renewable hydrogen. And for us, you can only produce renewable hydrogen from a waste that is already organic and according to our definition of what is then organic. And that's again, that may require own research efforts. And just taking my TTC hat on to say why we have this TTC and doing the research, and it's to linking your developments to the respective regulations. But if you have an expectation of also exporting and coming to the European market, you could only do that if your renewable hydrogen has been produced from waste that corresponds to what we consider as green waste. Just an illustration, we need to go back to market uptake. I think that is it for Bertrand. I think it was very, very useful. We add a little bit of references and we share, and we are available to further explanations on that. And after we also had DBT, EC, it's time to have DST. Thank you very much, Praveen. If you could share with us what is the support from DST on market uptake. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, and yeah, I find it interesting to talk to you on the subject, which is very much embedded in the Department of Science and Technology systems and all. So obviously, the theme of the session and what I have been asked to talk is technology development and transfer. Obviously, I'm talking about something which is acting as an enabler for the next step is lab to market. So I'm going to, in fact, talking something about what is, in fact, happening in the department to support this particular cause as an enabler. So the first thing I always look forward is what is the policy framework for these things? For example, when we talk about the technology forefront, what is what do you call a policy paradigm? So see, first of all, the current science and technology innovation policy we adopt, as it says that, you know, the aspiration itself, it starts like this, you know, creating an environment for enhanced private sector participation, which in fact has a lot of dimensions, as you know. And the second parameter I just want to highlight is that enabling conversion of R&D outputs into societal and commercial application. So in fact, it calls for different types of structures, different models, and the PPP is one of the models. So that itself having different structures. So what is the best for the country? Of course, it, as you know, it varies from economy to economy. So obviously the last one, which is the one which I myself, in fact, having some of the programs to, in fact, make our system to drive how to change our mindset and value system to recognize, respect, and rewards performance, which create wealth from S&T-derived knowledge. Because as we are aware, India, in fact, you know, it's a big country with a varied structures, and many of the administrative systems, in fact, is under different kinds of, you know, administration. So even asking for a uniformity across line is a big challenge. So, but some of the common aspects, like, you know, how to create a mindset which in fact enable the system to adopt more technology-oriented aspects and take that technology to, drive towards wealth and help the countryman to move forward. So maybe I can talk about later on all those aspects. But when I talk about Department of Science and Technology, obviously, I will not just move out without telling what the structures that the department is going to, of course, department is going to aim at. Through, you can see that it's a broad outline of what the department does. The first and foremost is institutional and human capacity building. In fact, this particular aspect itself is the one which, in fact, creating and trying to create workforce for the country. And this is the workforce which, in fact, takes the so-called our general theme of lab to market. So, and we have a lot of technology, in fact, intermediates for rural empowerment and grassroots innovations, and S&T for sustainable development, climate research, R&D for energy transition. And obviously, whatever science we are doing at your department, and doing at different parts of the country in institution, academics, we have to tell the people, so how to communicate. So communicating the science to the masses is another responsibility of the department. And obviously, when we talk about the science, people talk about the science in diplomacy, diplomacy for science, science for diplomacy, and all those aspects, one has to talk on that. So department talks all those facts at different, at different stages and different levels of operation. And obviously, what we look at is that, kind of Atma Nirbhar Bharat. This is what. So whenever I go that, I always like to talk on all those aspects, because this is, I said in my first talk itself, I'm talking only those aspects which act as an enabler for taking all these aspects forward. And so this is what, of course, see, when I talk about that thing, why I always say that many things has happened. But in fact, India has gone through a real transformation recent time. Of course, this slide tells you the story of India, what has happened. Of course, I am not claiming it is from the Department of Science and Technology, but the overall ambience, the kind of S&T framework which has got attention across different ministries, different line ministries. So I will always like to project it. So where India stands, that you can see that, see, in terms of number of publication, of course, we won't count much in this auditorium, but we are third in number. Of course, in terms of in quantity, quality is still a question, which of course we'll talk in some other time. And see the manpower generation, see the third in number of PhDs in science and engineering. Again, the question of quality, I will not like to put aside. So those are the things which, in fact, we have to address in due course. And the third in number of startups, of course, gentlemen, in fact, in two cases, they talked about the different aspects of startups and all. See, you can see the number, it's astonishing, actually. This all happened in very recent time, more than 1 lakh startups. And of course, I talk about quality of publications. We have a focus on that, at least 9 in terms of quality of research publication, and patent filing, and also we have some number, and the unicorn number is also some of the things which in fact got highlighted in the media in recent time. Okay, so when we talk about, you may ask that what are the things happened overall in the department and across the country to boost the technological development in the country. So the next slides, in fact, to tell us what are the stories happening across the different departments. Clean energy, we talk a lot on hydrogen valleys, and the focus is there. Climate science, one cannot, of course, forget that thing. And the telecom, AI, semiconductors, digital technology. In fact, I can tell you, the focus, in fact, is on all those aspects. See, we know that, Morse has said that, there is a limit to anything. Even if you curtail to any of the smaller structure, there are limitations. But we proved that we can go beyond the mood. So how do we tame semiconductors? So there are programs, in fact, and then obviously supercomputers. So when we already created something like 64 petaflop, what do you call computing power in the country. So what is your next level? And we have already had discussions in the next 2.0 supercomputers, where we started talking about supercomputers at the exascale. So what I just want to communicate is that, a lot of things are happening in the country. So now coming next to advanced material, several things, the earlier we talk about circular economy. Of course, how do you make value addition from the recovery of things from the waste? And what kind of mining, urban mining, you are going to do that thing. So we have to do a lot of things in these areas, advanced materials. And obviously, you are getting a lot of stories on quantum technology. And in fact, as you know, Department has launched a national mission on quantum science and technology, wherein the department focuses on 4 aspects of quantum technology. And I can tell you that even though there are 4, the quantum computing is one in which, of course, India can take a lead role. Obviously, quantum communication is not behind. So bioengineering, health sciences, transportation, logistics, disaster management, sustainable agriculture, smart manufacturing, frontiers in natural sciences. Of course, you might have heard about that. The establishment of something called Anusandhan National Research Foundation, ANRF. And this is the one which is going to drive the natural science sector, the bridging of natural sciences, the open-ended sciences with the futuristic, what you call science, futuristic technology. And it in fact acts as a overarching body to what you call coordinate the science and technology, science and engineering happening across different parts of the, drive by different ministries. So that frontiers in natural sciences will get a boost with the advent of the Anusandhan National Research Foundation. And the policy, ethics, regulatory, and social issues. Of course, we know that we give a lot of importance to ethical part. And even when we discuss what is happening, how the startups are there, who to steer the startup, so what kind of conflict that you will have if somebody is guiding, somebody is taking the top leadership in these entities. So those things, of course, we also get evaluated through the framework of ethic and social issues. And so maybe I may not talk much. I said I only highlight some of the technology enablers in our department. So sorry, yeah. Can you just yeah? So we have in fact at least 3 divisions in which really focus on technology, translation, and innovation. So I just, for the sake of what do you call, listing out the programs that which we are which we have implemented in the department, is only that advanced management. So nothing else. The details are available in the website. So this, in fact, is handled by different groups, and the funding limits for these schemes are different. So please have a look at. But just for the company, say for example, waste management technologies, device development programs. So all facets of biomedical device, we have a full-fledged program on this thing. Technology development program, that exclusively we have a program on TDP. And we have a technology platform for electric mobility, which is extremely important. We talk about towards net zero. I don't know how to be, whether we say net zero or towards net zero. These programs have significant contribution towards that. And we have something called SRI, Science and Heritage Research Initiative, which looks into different aspects of heritage, and how to connect to heritage through technology. So that is, yeah. So, and the theme here, of course, is water. And for water also, we have an exclusive program in the department. And you can see that the funding instruments, you can see that all suspects are there. Applied research, what are those things? Technology development and demonstration. So technology assessment and convergent solutions. You can see that the kind of leads which in each program you can notice that. Say, for example, demonstration, we have innovation grants, technology development project. So what I'm trying to communicate is that the opportunities are plenty, absolutely plenty. I'm just saying that for domestic, we always say that, things are not happening in our country. It's not like that. We have plenty of opportunities, but you have to read the objective while you're putting the application. I always say that, while you're putting the application, you please see the objective. What is the objective of that thing? We find some we may give to the youngsters, some we may give the middle-aged scientist group. So you have to see the objective, carefully read it, because many a time we end up applying places where you may have no role to play. So please understand, because why I'm making this statement in this platform is that normally we get application which has no relevance to the problems that we have defined to call for proposals. So please see that thing. The opportunities are plenty, and so can you please, yeah. So yeah, I told you we have a water technology cell itself, and which is aimed to strengthening the capability and capacity of Indian researchers and S&T institutions to encourage research, design and development of indigenous low-cost technological solutions to ensure safe drinking water for the masses. Of course, this resonates with what we have talked the last 2 days. So we have, in fact, a program in the department which fine-tunes with whatever happening in the department. Okay, I'm seeing the domestic sector, and you can see that, and also we try to see that how it merges with how it resonates with the sustainable development goals, and also this particular scheme also aligns with the national missions such as Swachh Bharat, Namami Ganga. So this is, of course, telling that, the activity should act only as should act as a complementary one rather than having a duplication of efforts. So coming to the, yeah, yeah, please. Yeah. Coming to the activities of the water technology cell, it also gives calls for these areas. See, you can see that the specified areas, in fact, is earmarked for this cell. So it also gives call in these areas, if desalination mission, water fellowship, industrial wastewater and reuse and recycling. And I just want to see, we are happy to, in fact, hear some of the areas which is not covered by the department. It is open, and we want to, in fact, listen to what you call educate department to tell us that this particular area is not covered under any of these programs. And okay, and obviously when you talk to the lab to market, see, I always feel that, suppose for example, this is the one actually of course I heard in many of the talk and all, what kind of inevitable, I call it as an inevitable mix that an institution should have to promote the so-called lab to market culture. Obviously, this is extremely important. I mean, the research culture, not only the research culture. For example, one of the driving factors, I always talk to the professors. My job is only to talk to the people whenever talk to the people across different academics. See, basically what is in fact embedded in the mind of many of the people. I'm not talking about IITians, okay? I'm really talking in an IIT platform. But whenever you talk to some of the, many of the academicians, I mean, we have a broader concept that, our efforts are no-profit organization. In the sense, you don't expect anything in return. I mean, this is something embedded, which in fact drive many of our academicians also. Because they say that, we only have to give. So, I mean, of course, this in principle, it is good at many extent. When we talk about a return of investment, definitely our nature has to be different. We should not be defensive. We should be little more reactive and proactive. So the culture is, in fact, I'm not in fact talking in a negative way I mean, the culture, in fact, has to be different. Culture, it includes the overall society also, because the academician cannot be out of the societal systems. And champions, this is extremely important. And you might have seen that some people, in fact, gel around and all. Why? We need champions. And this is one of the things we always look forward. The champions are the real ones. Though there are many good activities happen in a department, but we need champions. And obviously, incentivization is one of the other steps. In fact, we have to always integrate it in these programs. And collaboration. Obviously, I don't have to explain the importance of collaboration in this audience. So what is the take? So whenever you look into lab to market, if you take an institution X, what those factors, you can see that maybe out of these 4, 2 are okay. Maybe 1 is okay, maybe 2. But of course, the success comes if an institution is having this all the 4 I call it inevitable mix. If you have all the 4 things in a proper way, you can succeed in many fronts. And obviously, and this is extremely important. The next factor, mature teams. In fact, I read a lot on this. The importance of having a maturity in the team making. And you know that here in our program, 7 projects, so many units, people located in different parts of the world, they talk. The big question is that, have you in fact get into even optimal communication among the group? What transparency you have? What kind of cooperation is that? And these things, in fact, because maturity of the team is the one which, in fact, contribute more to the translation of technology into talent. Yeah, I'm just concluding that. Yeah, and obviously, the complexities involved. See, for example, I just said, new existing market. I mean, where are you going to present your product? And product is an existing one or is a new product? And are you going to introduce in an existing market, a new market? So those kinds of complexities, in fact, you have to think about. Obviously, the third one, always I say with the Einstein's quote, timing is extremely important. When are you going to launch that thing? See, even the product, some of the organizations say that down the line 6 months, I will have this kind of product, which in fact are these kinds of features. Are you ready to do so? So the timing is extremely important. And obviously, to have these kinds of, attend all these complexities, whether the academic scientists are prepared to do so, I don't think so. You need experts. So we need academic entrepreneurs. So I don't have much to say that, of course, really my timelines also coincide with that. I only have to say, yeah, thank you. That's yeah, thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah, as you said in the beginning, but we really could see, and also your enthusiasm for all these opportunities and all that. I'm sure that there are some questions. We have not much time. Yeah, I have one, but I'll first the audience and then maybe on the chat. Question from the audience? My question would be, you have two specific programs that sprung to mind. What was the waste management, and then the other one is on electrical vehicles. And what is the focus there? It's also the research and innovation. And is that those programs that have funding attached for international cooperation, or is it national level?
Yeah, in fact, we have under the clean energy program, we in fact have a lot of dialogue happened across the international community also, and including this electric mobility, wherein in fact, even in the material aspect itself, when you talk about, people are now talking about a replacement of lithium battery by sodium batteries and all. So a lot of discussions and work in fact is going across our institutions. So our EV mobility program, in fact, encompasses all aspects, including standardizations. So this is, of course, is one of the focus area of the department. Yeah.
Also funding for international cooperation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the integral.
So there is possibility to find synergies with the Horizon Europe there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, anybody that we don't see online, in the chat? Otherwise, we have the last one, but not the least one. It's the, we close with the circle of water with the Ganga, that we couldn't have been more symbolic in India. And therefore, I would be very happy to pass on the floor to Mr. Sanmeet Ahuja from the Environmental Technology Verification, member of the e-Ganga project. The floor is yours, sir. And thank you for being with us.
Just raise your thumb if you can hear me okay. Can you? Lovely, thank you. Thank you to the organizers. Sorry I can't be with you in person, but very, very happy to be here and talking about the subject of lab to market. So just by way of introduction, my name is Sanmeet Ahuja. I'm an expert member at C-Ganga, which is the short form for Center for Ganga River Basin Management and Studies. It's a master planner, think tank, and innovation agency headquartered at IIT Kanpur, but in collaboration with most of the IITs and 30 other institutions. And it's operating under the aegis of National Mission for Clean Ganga, Ministry of Jal Shakti. We founded the ETV program about 7 years ago to address the very challenges that have been spoken of by all the previous panelists and other speakers in this conference. So, and our purpose of existence is where the role of academia almost ends, or role of principle or fundamental science ends, and the role of commercialization starts. So we only deal with technologies which are TRL 5 and above. And our sweet spot is how do we bring them to market. So we're one of the most unique programs in the country that focuses on what we call the first valley of death, which is the first commercial demonstrator. So what we do is put out that first commercial demonstrator in the country. Over the last 5 or 6 years, we now have more than or almost 60 technologies from nearly 30 nations going through the process. And I would say about 40% of those are from EU member states across water, energy, waste, data, circular economy, digital systems, and other sectors as well. Why did we come about in the first instance? So as we were starting to scout for disruptive innovations in the space of water, we realized that pretty much all technologies coming to market were being asked two questions. At what price points are you offering your solution to us in India? And the second question is, if you were to be given a contract, are you ready to deploy from tomorrow? Right? And the answer from majority of the technology companies is don't know, right? Firstly, on the price points, as technologies get developed outside India, they're being created and brought to market in a very different economic conditions, and previous speakers have alluded to that, which is the prevailing commercial model of the water sector in India is very different to other markets. So is the technology fit for purpose in the Indian operating conditions and in the Indian commercial conditions is the sort of first validation that we were asked to do by the government, because we're getting inundated by so many technologies coming around the world. The rate of innovation has gone through, and I think it was mentioned briefly before that the rate of commercialization still is lagging way behind. So the government did not want to get inundated, so the ETV program was created for that very purpose. It started its life as a validation program, but we started to handhold a lot of the technology companies, and quite clearly we were also finding that companies were somewhat reluctant to open up and share the intricate details of the solution and systems because there's a lot of investment has gone into IP clearly. But finally, I think the penny dropped, and the two sides, as the confidence got built, we are able to convince many of the companies, almost all of them now going through the process, to enter into a strategic collaboration with Indian engineering companies and adopt the Make in India program, whether you do it as a technology licensing, contract manufacturing, joint venture, wholly owned subsidiary, or any commercial model that the company prefers to choose. And that's the only way that you'll be able to significantly or get a significant market share in the Indian conditions. India, from an economic standpoint, is a volume market, and is very cost sensitive and price sensitive. So affordability, of course, was mentioned again by previous speakers, and that's very, very important aspect. And if I draw some close parallels with our peers in the energy sector, the solar sector companies are earning 15% return on investment and yet offering tariffs which are 1/3 of those prevailing in Europe. And how they're able to do that is because of economies of scale. Right? So that's a very, very important point for a lot of the companies coming into the Indian market. So as we moved further, we created this whole quadrilateral ecosystem of policy, of technology, of industry, and of investors, and are now able to deploy the first commercial demonstrators in the country. So we've got 6 success cases already out there. So having then crossed the first valley of death, we then move to the second valley of death, which is how do you scale up? And that's where we bring the blended finance approaches and innovative financial models to provide or give access to capital to the companies wanting to scale up, whether it's through green bonds or other structured finance solutions. Those are the two aspects that we are working on. So really our purpose is, once we bring the company on board, we work from the fork to noke, which is first of a kind to nth of a kind. That's our direction and pathway of travel. Just to give you a few examples, we started working on decentralized wastewater treatment systems, and we found an Anglo-Irish technology developed by an Irish scientist who has very successfully developed a technology that can, in a modular fashion, can treat wastewater in situ. So a 10 meters by 10 meters system, which treats 2.5 million liters a day of wastewater to tertiary level standards with under 2-hour retention time. And this has been successfully proven in the city of Pune. The plant has been running for the last 8 or 9 months very successfully, and now it's ready for a nationwide scale up. We worked on circular economy and very specifically on waste tires. End-of-life tires is a huge problem. And we brought a German technology into India, which uses ultra-high pressure water jets to pulverize waste tires. And we are able to now recover 100% of rubber and 100% of steel from the end-of-life tires, and giving true value and true meaning to circular economy. We worked on a global consortium, principally supported by the Norwegian government and the Dutch agencies on biosolids, and we released the first policy framework last month on the use of biosolids, particularly sludge coming out of wastewater treatment plants, and how do you create both standards as well as pathway to markets. The pathway to markets is largely land application, but there is no visible marketplace available. So we're working with Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Fertilizer, national fertilizer companies to now develop a product which is fit for purpose for land application. So that was another example. We're working with government of Slovenia and the space agencies in Slovenia to create a very interesting digital platform where we're able to do flood inundation modeling, and the satellite access that we have through Slovenia, the ESA satellite, the European Space Agency satellite network, we have access to. We are able to penetrate cloud cover and see how far is the incidence of flood on our planes, and that program is being scaled up massively now. We are also now working with the Spanish agencies to take a consortium of bring Spanish technologies into India, and through Spain take a lot of the innovations we've proven in the Indian market, both to Europe as well, further afield to Latin America as well. So those are some of the examples that we're working on. And just sort of to finalize, looking ahead, whilst we've grown in very organically on a case-by-case, project-by-project basis, we're now putting structured programs where we partnered with large number of investors, both within India and globally, so that we have access to funds, commercial funds, specifically for the first-of-a-kind demonstration. So really our focus is the valleys of death, and you need dedicated financial and commercial instruments and pathways to help companies go over those particular gaps that are there in the commercial pathway. So I'll pause here and stop here. If there are any questions, happy to answer.
That was a lot of new opportunities, support, ideas on bringing our technologies to the market. I think we will need your coordinates, or we have your coordinates, and some of us may ask for clarifications or for support. I have already one question here. Yes, Mark.
Hello, thanks for the presentation. I have two questions. The first is, when you're going to validate a decentralized wastewater treatment system, could you explain how you're going to validate this? Are you validating this on the basis of an existing standard? And if yet, what standard are you using to validate such a decentralized wastewater treatment system? And second, if a European company would like to get validated by you, what would be roughly the cost for that? Thanks.
Sure. Thank you. So, I mean, the standards that we follow are pretty well defined by the Central Pollution Control Board, the National Green Tribunal. Those standards are out in the public domain. But the answer, this very specific answer to your question is what is the water body that we are treating? Is it a lake? Is it a pond? And is the purpose of treatment to bring the water to bathing standards? then of course we have to make sure that the quality of water is up to that level. But if the use of water is only for discharge into the downstream into the river, then we follow the discharge norms and standards. And in some cases, the local body asks us, no, the use of water is for agricultural purposes. So again, the level of standards are pretty well defined, using BOD levels, dissolved oxygen levels, and those are out in the public domain. The second is the cost of validation. The program is significantly subsidized by the Indian government, and almost to the tune of 80 to 90% of the validation is subsidized by the Indian government. So we ask for very little commitment funding from the company upon entry, but really the cost, we try and absorb the validation cost in the commercial demonstrator. So really the project takes on the significant cost of the validation. We're not doing validation for the sake of just giving a paper exercise. This is not a pass or a fail process for us. This is a developmental process. How do we bring that innovation to market? So as much as possible, we try and capture the cost of validation in the project cost itself, which is a number of agencies come together to fund.
Any more questions? I guess there would be many on this validation process. What is the validity of it, the authority of it? Is it kind of, it's not a blank check to go to the market, but it's a necessary step? Or I haven't really understood that validation process.
Question to me, is that, Tanya? Well, it's almost a necessary step to go to the market because as public tenders come out, they will ask you if the technology has not been demonstrated in country, then it has to be validated by an authority. And there are many in the country. So some states follow different agencies. So IIT Bombay, for instance, is an authority in its own right, and NEERI is an authority in its own right. So there are a number of agencies in the country that validate. We are slightly different because we go much further ahead. We not only validate the technology, we also bring a first commercial project, get that license permitted from the government agencies, and then create the project by also resourcing the project through a consortium mode.
Yeah, one quick follow-up question. If a technology already has been certified by an ISO standard, which also has been deployed by India, would it then get a fast track in your validation scheme, or it would need to run through full validation again?
The challenge you will face is you have to define, even if it's defined by ISO and accepted in India, but has the technology been proven under Indian conditions is the question most procurement agencies would ask, right? An ISO standard does not confirm that at all. So it just confirms whether the solution works in a particular condition, but does it work in every condition? Still remains a question mark. So most procurement agencies, what I call line ministries, so Department of Water or Energy or Transport, they would want to see the solution working in India before they would stick their neck out and give large-scale tenders and orders.
That is it. I think we have closed the circle from the lab to the market. And with this, we also have finished session 3, and we open the dice for the closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Okay, if we can break for tea, not for half an hour as the schedule says, but just for 15 minutes, assemble back for the closing session. Yeah. Thank you.
Process, I would say the 2 days program, 1 day dedicated to project reviews and 2nd day discussion on market uptakes. And today we had very wonderful presentation, I would say, that I also mentioned earlier. And in this presentation, we could see the technologies that are ready for market. At least there are TR level 6, and some of them need a bit of modification, bit of validations, then maybe some field testing, something related to water quality parameters, as well as sanitations and other sectors that are covered, all those 4 verticals. And since this is about the discussion on market uptake and research and R&I, research and innovation part, I leave it to DST and DBT, because they are the bodies under Government of India looking at taking care of this research innovation in the country in various sectors. And Dr. Praveen presented also about the DST programs, various programs, and the funding mechanism, all those things. So if I look at these technologies, of course, they are right in their true sense, and definitely they have taken care of many aspects of technology development. They have done the gap analysis. They have, studied the market. But still, since technology development takes a long time and takes time to get matured, and still we are hoping that, out of these 7 or 8 technology proposed or presented, definitely we are looking forward to a few, and we'll explore the possibilities of giving some of these technologies a platform under our India EU-CTTC program. And under the working group 2 that I mentioned earlier, also green and clean energy technologies. And because at this stage we cannot take any decision, but definitely in due course of time and with due consideration, as well as discussion with our EU counterpart, as well as I hope we are going to take some of the important observations from our reviewers also, because they are the actually real stakeholder in the whole process of this project from development to till we concluding maybe in this month, January. So from our side, being part of the TTC and the India UTTC program, we are looking forward to exploring the possibilities of including this technology in the program. So this is from my side, and and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohanty. Now I would like to request Dr. Balavanas, who is present with us virtually, to give the concluding remarks. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you also, I hope that you can hear me also?
Yes, please start.
Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, thank all of you for the very nice presentations. Fortunately, I was not able to follow from the early beginning, but I'm sure also my colleagues also took notes, and we can also reflect on the presentation, on the outcomes of the solutions. But I was also very happy also to follow also the previous sessions, and I think also provided also useful information on various also activities and tools, funding also opportunities which exists also in India. If I'm also allowed also to make a small also compliment from our side, because this environmental verification also scheme, I think this is something very useful and something that we also supported also in Europe, in particular also through our policy directorate, DG Environment. And we had always in the past also promoted these instruments within our project. So we encourage also the project dealing with technology developments also to use these opportunities. And the cost, for instance, of verification were also eligible costs in our project. Unfortunately, this is something that we have probably to reflect. We have probably also to see what are also the experiences. This scheme now has been finished at the European level. And one of the main reasons is that the kind of analysis of the outcomes shows that even with, despite, having these verification schemes and this, it was still not possible also to show that this has really an important role for the market uptake. So this is something that probably you have also to reflect and to compare also these experiences. But nevertheless, I think we was also a pleasure to see that there are different opportunities also within the DST. There are different schemes. I think we have also to compare. We have to see how eventually we can combine these tools. For instance, Bertrand mentioned about these innovation public procurement schemes. We have to see to what extent these schemes are also possible for cooperation also with India, or are only relevant at the European scale. We have also to look on the European Innovation Council. There are a lot of opportunities. I've seen also in the chat was also some question about some people asked about this Enterprise Europe network, and to what extent, how this can also, to what extent we can leverage this tool to showcase the water technology. I would like also to reply that this is, of course, this is a very valuable instrument, but of course is not part of Horizon Europe. Is a different, instrument, but of course, one of the issues that we are also discussing a lot at the European level is the synergies between the different also funding mechanisms, and this is also an issue that we have. There are also some examples at the European level, and this is something that we have also probably to reflect and to see to what extent this type of instruments can eventually also be used. But in any case, what also I would also take as a message that, in my view, the ongoing framework of these coordination actions provides also very important elements where eventually we would also be pleased to see to what extent from your side to discuss with the Department of Science and Technology if there would be willingness also to contribute to eventually join forces that they can eventually complement these coordination support actions with a kind of Indian, perspective. So I think this is something which also at the short term could be a good also opportunity. But of course, we have also to take on board the outcomes of these solutions. The 2 days workshops, they will have also to wait also to see the review comments. We hope that the projects also will reflect in the remaining time how eventually make all these outcomes in a common position. I would like also to take the opportunity to say there are already within the European level and within our project, there are, for instance, some platforms that, they can facilitate, to bring together different technologies, try to see to what extent will be possible also to take also these technologies developed by the Indian project and also connect with this ongoing platform. So there is a lot of opportunities there. So I'm very optimistic that we will have also the opportunity to continue this very successful cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Malavanas, for very nicely putting up the next steps on market uptake and this cooperation with EU and India with research and innovation. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Parekh, EU delegation to India, for giving a concluding remark.
Yes, dear colleagues, it has been 2 days that we have been discussing, and especially with colleagues online. I was trying to find an image of what I could leave you, because usually we don't remember long speech, but we remember images. And I was thinking to myself, well, how many liters of water I have used since I arrived here in Mumbai? I have no idea. I took shower twice. I went several times to toilet. I have eaten something that has required water. I have drunk water. So there is really a perception that water is free, but water is not free, and water has a limit, and water is a common good. So this lack of awareness is really part of the problem, I would say, especially in the Western world, but probably everywhere. And this, we have to tackle it as much as we are tackling, for example, air pollution. So definitely this is the image I would like to leave to all the colleagues, being us officials, being you scientists or colleagues who are in behind business. We have to solve that issue of water, and apparently very rapidly due to climate change. So this is a little bit outside of the main topic, which is today to put EU and Indian team, but without individual awareness, we will not go far. We will always try to have financial, technical, innovative solutions without any real understanding of the problem behind. So it's a common responsibility, but it starts with an individual responsibility. So I would really like to have a kind of thermometer that tells me, okay, today you have spent 200 liters of water, stop or reduce. Now back to the event of yesterday and today. I learned a lot because I'm not a water specialist, as many of the colleagues here, and I would like really to appreciate the work that has been put on the podium here. I have to tell you that at the level of the EU delegation to India, we will follow up. We will follow up with, of course, our headquarter colleagues who have the money and who have the ideas. We will follow up with all the colleagues here on the podium because they are part of the solution in terms of the mechanism. And as Panos just said, there are opportunities. Just it's matter where we, government, are acting. We cannot do everything. Scientists have their responsibility. Business people have their responsibility, but us also, we are part of the value chain. So we will follow up. One more thing that I learned today, and it was in one of the last session, it was interesting when the colleague of Ganga initiative was mentioning that he's also cooperating with Latin America. So I was saying, wow, it's quite interesting. It's, of course, it's not only India, EU program. It's India is also cooperating with others, and EU is cooperating with others and India. So it's, again, it's back to my image of it's a common issue and how best we fit, how best we have to do things with India, how best we have to do things with Latin America, what are the different elements and where and how and when it combines best. So appreciation to all the colleagues who have been part of yesterday and today, appreciating, of course, all the old colleagues and not only the one who will retire, but all the old colleagues who are behind, because you go forward by valuing what you have done in the past and by having a vision. So water is definitely a big issue in the EU cooperation with India. And as a science counselor at EU delegation, I will value it with my colleagues also from EU member states. Many of them have been online today because the way we are built in Europe is working with EU countries, and we need their support. So again, thank you very much, and thank you for the host. It was really a nice reception we had yesterday and today again. Thank you to all the colleagues. All the best to the colleagues of Europe who go back to the end tomorrow. Thank you to all the Indian colleagues. And I forgot to say thank you to Samrat from Euraccess, and of course, thank you to Vivek, all the logistics, and you.
Next, I would invite Dr. Abhishek Singh from DBT for the remarks.
So, good evening to all scientific and non-scientific delegates for attending this confluence on the water. While water is life, and if we are getting water, either in the form of potable or either in any other form, then we are living in the luxury. So if our future generations are really able to get this luxury on continuous mode, then we have to work hard, because our persistence in this field will lead the path. Since we are living in the decade of water action, as per the United Nations ambition as well as goals, even the first half of that decade is over, and we are in the second half of the first year, because it is going to be end in the 2028. Even before the starting of this, the government of India has initiated the mission Namami Gange to take up the humongous target to clean up the Ganga. Even cleaning of the Ganga is not the solution. Even cleaning of maximum water from maximum points of sources, even in all peripheries, is required to use it in either for the irrigation, for the potable, in any other form. So for that target to achieve, we need continuous improvisation in the form of technology, in the form of cooperation, in the form of R&D, in the form of lab research, like the blue sky research, even in the form of lab to market, even from market to commercialization, even commercialization to large scale, to solve this problem on continuous process. Even the change is the prime focus and prime signature of the life. So we have to change with the problems. So I will say in the final words that we have to change with the time, in the form of technology, in the form of cooperation, in the form of everything. Do we make our resolve? Do we make our life better? And do we our universe, our earth as sustainable for future generations? So I will stop here, because before my term, maximum things has been conveyed. Even after my term, Mehak will convey. So my special thanks to all guests and invitees, as well as all scientific PIs. Even my special thanks to all scientific expert members for the DST as well as DBT committees. And My special thanks to Professor Goody and his team for making such better arrangements and for convening this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Now I'll request Dr. Mehak for the final comments and the vote of thanks for the event.
Thank you, ma'am. So good evening to all of you present here. On behalf of Department of Science and Technology, I would like to first thank the organizer, Professor Ravi Guri, who has taken this job and done a wonderful hospitality for all of us from last 2 days. Not only from last 2 days, but since this event got planned to be happen in IIT Delhi, he was there every time. And I remember we have even talked at the night 9:30 and used to call to each other early morning also for some other issue. And we are happy to receive recommendations from our expert members who has always been there for us. They have shown us the path, how we should proceed to get the maximum output and maximum outcome from all the water projects. I would also like to thank Praveen sir from Department of Science and Technology, who has been the light for this event, for this conference, who has shown us the path, how we should proceed further. If I say about water, much has been said and even more has been learned by all of us in past 2 days, be it multi-parameter sensor or multifunctional reactor or nature-based solution in Pavitra project. Many of the aspects of water have been covered. Ultimately, technologies have been developed. It has been said by all our coordinators. They have achieved TRL level 6, 7, some of them at even TRL level 9. So, which shows that they are ready for the market uptake. And for market uptake, we have learned from our experts and from different expert panels that affordability is one of the major concerns. Affordability as well as the last mile connectivity through which you can reach up to the real stakeholder who actually require water in pure form. So it has also been said that technology development transfer in Department of Science and Technology provides so many opportunities for the researchers, academicians to do more and more research. And what I feel is no one solution doesn't fit all the problems. So as Dr. Abhishek said, we have to keep on changing as per the challenges and as per the time to come, what are the next future challenges we are going to see. And as of now, we look forward to work further with our EU partners. And I thank all my EU colleagues also to be part here, all the lead coordinators to present their project outcomes. the concrete technologies which they have developed out of the 7 water projects. So thank you once again. Thank you so much.
With this, we have now come to an end of this 2-day event, WaterTech event. And last but not least, I would like to invite all of you for a group photograph here before we close the session. Thank you all. Please.